Hi, Josh and Con here from Flux Magnetic Studios.
Today we'll be looking at recording small vintage 5-watt tube amps.
Let's go.
So here we are in the live room with Vic, our studio partner. Vic is going to tell you all about the amps. Take it away, Vic.
Okay, so basically here we have four little 5-watt amps of various vintages, and they're all single-ended amplifiers, which means they only have one power tube. And we're going to start here with the Decca amp, which is branded Decca, but it's probably made by Dan Electro, and it sounds like this. Okay, and a nice feature about this amp is it's got tremolo on it, and it sounds like this. Okay, so then over here we have a Gretsch amp from 1964, and this is made by a company called Valco out of Chicago that made a lot of amps for other companies like National and Oahu and a ton of others. And this is a pretty bright yet crunchy sounding amp, and it sounds like this. This amp also features a nice choppy sounding tremolo, and it sounds like this. And moving on, we have here another Valco made amp, and this is a Supro branded amp, and Supro was their own brand, I believe, and it's got a really similar sort of sound to like what you hear on the first Zeppelin album, which was a Supro Coronado, which is a 10-watt amp, I believe, and this one is a 5-watt, and it sounds like this. Now these amps were designed as student amps, and you'll notice that this one in particular has two instrument inputs that are both high impedance inputs, and they were meant for the student and the teacher to plug in simultaneously. And they also have a microphone input, which for some reason they thought you can use it for singing as well, although I don't know how well that would turn out. But when you plug an electric guitar into it, it gives you a super raunchy sound. And then moving on here, we have the Fender Champ from 1959, and it's it's probably the most hi-fi sounding of all these amps. And when you play these amps, I mean, we've been playing these amps full up so far, and with humbuckers, so they got a pretty raunchy sound. If you use single coils, of course, it'll give you a slightly cleaner kind of thing happening. Now, this amp in particular, if you run it, say, around 3 o'clock, rather at volume 3, it gives you a relatively clean sound. And so as we creep up on the volume knob, it starts to dirty up more and get raunchier and raunchier. It goes from like clean to edge of breakup to distortion to full-on fuzzed out, collapsing on itself kind of distortion. So now we're going to show you what these amps sound like in practice, in actual practice. We're going to show you an overdub session on a song, and we went with the Champ on that song because it's just better suited tonally for that particular song, because I didn't want a super raunchy sound on it, but I wanted a slightly hi-fi sound, and it just tonally was closer to what I wanted. But all these amps do a great job in any recording session, really. And so here we go.
Okay, so we'll be close micing the Champ with an Electrovoice RE10 dynamic mic. It's a super cardioid mic with an interesting feature called Variable D that is designed to suppress the proximity effect, which is what these grills on the side are responsible for. Next up is the RCA77B1. This particular one is from 1938, and it used to be at Radio City Music Hall, which Bing Crosby probably used to sing through, and it was painted gray to prevent the lights from reflecting into the audience. Last but not least is the RCA77D, which is very similar to the B1, but unlike the B1, it has changeable polar patterns. As for the guitar chain, we have a Fender reverb tank over here, going into a homemade tone bender fuzz box.
Well, we got a lot of great sounds out of these little bitty practice amps, so we had a lot to choose from. But in the end, we decided to go with the Fender Champ because we felt like it just sounded best for the song.
Yeah, small amps are a lot easier to control. They're more mid-forward. They don't have as much low end as the big ones do. So, but that also comes at the expense of them being boxy. Which is not really a problem. You can EQ that boxiness out and post without any problems.
That sounds a lot easier than trying to deal with big standing waves or other artifacts that you can get from larger amps.
Yep, and that's why these amps are all over those classic rock records that we all know and love.
They sound great and it just works. So I learned a lot today. I hope you did too. So please like and subscribe.
Don't forget to click that bell.